Good evening, guys. Saturday night, April 2nd. Hope you're having a good weekend. It's 9:30 p.m. New York time, and just doing a weekly video. Um, Overall comments, not a lot of clarity in some of these pairs right now, especially longer term. So I think a lot of these pairs I'll be looking to, if I'm going to trade them on short, it will be on shorter time frames. I just there's just nothing really standing out to me right now in terms of any major turns or anything. But we'll go through it here, and some of them I'm just going to skip through pretty quick because I just don't really have much to say about them. Just quick look at the news calendar for this week's Forex Factory here. Um, there isn't a ton, but what there is pretty important. So we start right off with on Sunday night, New York time with Aussie news, building approvals and retail sales. This certainly can be important. We're expecting a pretty big swing to the positive side on the building approvals and retail sales, a small increase. So keep an eye on that. We have construction PMI on Monday with the pound. That's pretty important. And then we go right back to Aussie news on Monday night into Tuesday, trade balance, and of course, their monetary policy decision at 12:30 a.m. on Tuesday, New York time. So this is probably the biggest Aussie news of the week, obviously. So I certainly will be watching these. Um, Services PMI for the pound, trade balance for the Canadian on Tuesday, also important. Um, 10 o'clock on Tuesday a.m. ISM non-manufacturing PMI. We'll see. Sometimes this really doesn't do much. Same thing with the jolts. This really doesn't do anything. The ISM could, but I don't think it will. And of course, we have GDT for the Kiwi. That's always important. Of course, we don't know what time that's coming out, but uh, it was a negative number last time, so we'll see what that looks like. This cakes and services PMI um, for the yuan, for the Chinese yuan. Although it's a yellow, this could be important for the Aussie and the Kiwi and the yen. So we'll see. I'll be watching this, even though it's not listed as a red level news. Into Wednesday, crude oil inventories, depending how it comes out. If there's a big variance, certainly can move the dollar and the Canadian dollar. So we'll see. FOMC minutes. This could be important. Obviously, we had non-farm payrolls, and so we'll see. If these minutes kind of reinforce or go against anything that we saw in terms of the non-farm payrolls number for last week, which, by the way, I'm sure everybody saw came out positive as expected. Although there wasn't a lot of follow through in the buying. We'll talk about that on the charts. So. Um, and then into Thursday, unemployment claims. Again, not expecting that to be big market mover. Of course, Draghi, no set time. And let's see what he's supposed to be talking about. Economic and financial situation in Europe. So he's going to be talking economics. So I will certainly be paying attention to what Draghi says. Everybody knows that he can really move the euro like hundreds of pips when he talks. And then later Thursday, you have Fed Chair Yellen speaking. This one I certainly think will be very important. It could be more important than the minutes release here. We have another FOMC member speaking. I don't think this one will be so important. And then Friday, manufacturing production for the pound, and then unemployment information on the Canadian, which should be important for the Canadian. So, like I said, just the sheer numbers, keep that in mind as you're looking at your charts and deciding on pairs this week to trade. So there certainly is a lot of important red level news to come. So, anyways, so over to the charts here. Um, let's see. So Euro Aussie, we'll just start with that again. I'm not going to stop on all these, but Euro Aussie, we have this downtrend. We're in a sideways channel now. Um, And so I am expecting that this will break out of the channel to the downside, although there is possibility that we'll see this break up for a wave C. I have this labeled as an A, B, and then maybe a C. The CCI suggests that will break to the downside. It doesn't really look like a triangle to me. And we did actually break out here, but then we came right back. So the two possibilities that this is, like I said, this is an A, this is an extended B, and we'll go up for C. Um, so that's actually more of what my leaning is. Although again, this could just be part of a wave 4, and then we'll go down. So, but given this, I'm certainly not going to trade this unless we take out this high and we get a definitive breakout one way or another. So, but this could be some good pips if once this does break out, because it's been moving sideways for so long that it's building up a lot of energy here to break out. So, Euro Canadian on the daily chart, it looks like we could have a wave C ending here, and we'll be moving lower. This to me looks like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, move down for 5. So and we have this price action right here with this strong candle to the downside, this pin bar, and then moving down. So CCI looks like it's made a full move up, and we could possibly be heading back down here on the Euro Canadian. This is one that's not particularly clear to me, but that's what I'm thinking right now. So Euro dollar. Okay, so as we know, non-farm payrolls came out better than expected, and so we'd expect to see the euro fall off. And when the news came out, nothing really happened at first. Just kind of was a little volatility on this candle right here, up, down, typical. And then we finally got some downside pressure. And this really, this was the end of a trend. So this was where I'm thinking was a wave 5. We ended a trend, and now we're going down. So we had this push down, and then towards the end of the day, we recovered some, and then we just moved sideways for the last several hours of trading on Friday. So it is possible that we'll see this push back up. We may see it retest this. This could be, a retest, possibly 100% retest back up here. But I still think it's going to go down, and this is just a correction. And of course, it's Friday afternoon, so things just kind of completely died out after that. We just moved sideways. But if this downtrend is going to resume, this was an ABC, then this is going to go down for a long time. But we'll see. I mean, the dollar fundamentals and feeling out there is pretty bearish right now economically. So, but just going by what the news was on Friday and what the patterns suggest. So, and it suggests that the euro will go down. So, but we'll keep an eye on that. Euro Kiwi. So we have a definite correction here in this channel. We got a Fulger right here where it broke out and came right back. But I am expecting this to go down. It takes out this channel to the downside, which is what I'm expecting to retest these lows here. That might possibly end wave B, because again, I was looking at this more that we had this move up, and then we've had this corrective move down, and then we'll move back up. So this might be the last push down of this correction, and then we'll go back up again. So, but either way, in the short term, as long as it's inside this channel, I'm not doing anything. We get a definitive breakout to the downside, then I'd be looking to short this. And perhaps something like the GDT on when that comes out, if it's positive, that would push the Euro Kiwi lower. So Euro Yen, we could be looking at the end of a correction here. We see this price action here on the 8-hour chart. You can see this impulsive candle starting to form here. This could be the end of a C, and now we're heading back down. So need some confirmation. I want to see it take out these lows through here to be looking for a resumption of the downtrend. it could possibly bounce off of here and go up for another wave. So we'll see. But I'm going to stand pat on this. I'm not going to do anything right now. There's really not a lot of Euro news this week until Draghi speaks. So I don't, and I didn't see any yen news really. So I'm not sure what's going to be the catalyst for this one, but we'll see what happens, whether this correction really is over. The Kiwi dollar, again, very sloppy and choppy. I just really don't like this pair right now. This is the weekly chart. Looks like maybe we had a flat correction here up for A, and then 1, 2, 3 for a flat right here, and then we're heading up. But it really is very sloppy and choppy. And this is one of those pairs, maybe if you're going to trade it on the lower time frames, if you can identify a trend. But I'm going to probably wait and see what happens with the GDT. And, it's possible that this is a corrective move, that we continue to head lower here and GDT is positive, and then we go back up. Because we did have this nice uptrend, now we're correcting here. So I would expect that this is just going to kind of drift lower here. And then when the GDT comes out, suggesting that it'll be positive, will go up, which would also make sense to have the Euro Kiwi go down. So that's it on the Kiwi. Aussie dollar, pretty much what you see here. This is certainly is a correction here going on. Again, pretty sloppy. It's just not a pair that I'm looking for right now. However, like I said, though, we do have some pretty substantial Aussie news coming out here on Sunday and Monday into Tuesday. So I think the Aussie will get its feet and get some direction back here. And we'll see, because it's been down for so long. I have this line drawn here, which was an area where I thought maybe this would recover back to, and then we'll sell off. So I think we will probably drift higher in this pair and possibly get back up here. But I think overall this is a correction, and so that we will go back down. And so this news that's coming out, whether it's the building approvals or whether we wait, and this might be the more likely thing, that the cash rate and everything will, in the RBA statement, they're not expecting to change rates. So the statement might be more important, or it could be trade balance, who knows. But I do think that the Aussie will continue up here, but at some point we'll get a break back to the downside. You can see we have divergence on the CCI, so we're making new highs here, but the CCI is not. But it's going down spread apart, which suggests that it will go up again, and we'll probably have more divergence, which again suggests that eventually we'll break to the downside. All right, Aussie yen, another one that's kind of really sloppy right now. Weekly chart, we've been moving pretty nicely inside this channel. We've now reached the top of the channel again, so if you're a simple pattern trader, you might look to trade this to the downside. Again, from an Elliott wave standpoint, this looks like an ABC, and again, if the news is negative on the Aussie, would be the same thing. We could possibly see this drift higher, come back up, maybe touch this trend line. This is the daily chart, so it certainly could come all the way back, and then I'm thinking Aussie news will be negative, and that will push this down. So U.S. yen. So of course, we had positive news on the dollar. I didn't trade it on this pair. Again, this was the triangle we had last week, from a couple weeks ago. We did break out. We did meet that low here. Pretty much was the same number of pips as this widest part of the triangle, which I talked about. So now this looks pretty corrective here. So I'm thinking this is an ABC. We finished A. We're now in B. We'll probably go up for C. It might be a little delayed reaction on the news for the dollar, but I am expecting U.S. yen to move back to the upside here. But it's pretty sloppy, so I'll be looking for something to catalyze it. I'm really not looking to trade this pair right now. But if I had to guess, I would say it will head higher here. It may go down a little bit more, but we will head back to the upside. U.S. CAD. The monthly chart, I'm going to go all the way out to the monthly chart, looks to be in a wave 4. This appears to be a wave 4, and that will be going back up. And that would make sense because on the weekly, looks like we're possibly ending a trend on the weekly chart. That this was the end of a trend, so we're heading down for wave 4. That's what this is on the monthly. So I am expecting this pair to eventually go back up before it sells off again. But again, this is not really one I'm trading right now. There's not a lot of definition on it, so so I'm not going to really spend much time on that. U.S. Swiss. I know last week I was talking that this was a triangle, and that we're going to go up, and then we're going to have a substantial move down. Now, again, the news for the dollar was positive, and that would counter my argument about this pattern. I actually did take a long on this pair after the just before the news came out. I did go long on this pair right down here. This is where the market was before the release of the news. I went long here, and we did bounce back up, so it is in a small profit right now. But again, same thing with the euro dollar. There wasn't a lot of follow through. It went up, and then it went back down, and then it just kind of moved sideways the rest of the trading session. So, but I do expect this is going to go up. However, based on this pattern, this might only be a short-term bounce because again, there's not a lot of positive economics on the dollar or not much in the economy. So, although the news was positive, and we may move back up for a substantial amount of time, I think long-term this pair will come back down again and fulfill this pattern here. But for now, I think it's going up. So anyways, what else? On the cable, this 2-hour chart looks like this is a pretty classic trend here. 1, 2, 3, we're in a wave 4. We'll go down for wave 5. Overall, I think it's in wave 2 of a C wave. And right here on the 12-hour chart, here was your A, and then we had B, and now we're probably heading back up. So A, B, C, and again, with the dollar being what it is, it'll take some strong pound news to move this up. But there is quite a bit of pound news this week, so I think that will be more important than what the dollar is doing this week. So, we certainly could head back. I do think we're going to head back down here with the dollar strength and the fact that this is a wave 4. So this probably will go down for a little bit longer. But then I think based on this pattern, we'll probably see some positive pound news push this back to the upside. So on the Kiwi, pound Kiwi, could be approaching the end of a correction here on the weekly chart. Now this has been going down for a long time here. And we had this triangle pattern that we broke out of. And again, triangle always appears in the final wave. So of a sequence, generally a wave 4. This is about 660 pips. So out of this triangle, we have now gone 650. So I'm thinking that this is probably nearing the end. It probably will go down a little bit more. CCI is suggesting that, but we could be at some point nearing a bottom to this, and we'll see what happens. But again, the conflict for that is if the GDT and the Kiwi news is positive, then that's a conflict. However, positive GDT news could be the catalyst for this to make its final move down, and then overall better pound news could push it back up. So I'm not looking to trade this pair right now. I got some good pips out of this in the last week or so, but this is definitely a correction. I think it will make another move down, but not a big one, and then we'll see what happens. So I will not be trading that right now. Pound Swiss, this is one of those ones you got to go down to a lower time frame. So this is the 20-minute chart. I think this is in wave B of 4. So this is a wave 4 overall, and I think we're probably going to go up again, and then we'll finish off a wave 5. This looks to be a 3 right here, and then we'll go up A, B, C, and then down at some point. So again, not one I'm looking to trade. It's a low time frame. There's not a lot of pips in here. So pound Aussie, 15-minute chart. Again, looks to be in a correction. The downtrend is still intact. This downtrend is still intact. On the monthly chart, if you go out here, if you want to really stretch it out here, this looks like either is it a wave B or this was the end of a correction and we're going to just continue down, down, down here. But this could be just a wave B forming here, and that we had this A up, and then with B and then C. So we'll see what happens. I'll be watching to see what happens with the pound news to get some direction on these pairs. Of course, it's the pound Aussie, so it's going to be dependent on what happens with the Aussie too. And again, what I was suggesting is that the Aussie is going to go up a little bit and then down. So that could end this trend here on the pound Aussie, and then positive pound news and the Aussie selling off to cause this to go back up again. Okay, so anyways, pound Canadian, I actually am short this pair right now from about this point. Although I have a take profit right about here, I probably will close this when the market reopens if I don't touch this, because we do have some divergence for me here on this short. And so on the daily chart, you can see the trend here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're probably approaching the end of wave 5. And again, with positive pound news, this could be the end of the correction. So we had, on the weekly chart, we had a big move up. That took a long time. Now we've moved down. We're approaching this area down in here. Positive pound news could turn this pair back around to the upside. So I think it will go down a little bit more here, and then we'll see what the pound news does for this pair. So, but again, not one that's got a ton of direction. So, and last but not least, pound yen. I'm thinking that we're in a wave C. As long as this trend line holds right here. So if this was A, and then we have ABC down for B, and then we've had wave 1. This is just a deep correction, not unusual for this pair to have a deep correction. If it takes this low out, then this interpretation is wrong. But if this holds, again, positive pound news shoots this back to the upside for wave C. Okay, so you can see the theme with the pound pairs, that they're all in corrective phases, but I am expecting positive pound news to push them back up after maybe a little bit more downside. So that's it. So again, guys, not as clear as things were a week ago. A lot of different scenarios could play out. So I'm going to be very dependent on these news events this week as far as where I place my trades. And I will be looking at these different pairs and currencies where they are right when these news come out, and make decisions about whether I want to get in or not. Because there's no obvious patterns from an Elliott standpoint really setting up. There's some divergence on a few pairs, but it's not as obvious. But again, although it's not obvious, there is some really pretty decent news. So keep an eye on them where they are at the time the news comes out, because I have a feeling that although they're not clear sitting here tonight, that we will have corrections ending, or the next leg of corrections beginning at the time of these news, and so things might look more clear at that point. So, all right. So again, as always, don't trade off anything I'm telling you. Do your own advice, come to your own decisions, make your own trades, and I know you guys all have your different systems, but hopefully these videos kind of help complement, maybe solidify what you were thinking, or maybe give you some food for thought for if it's not what you were thinking. So, um, but as always, you know, do analysis across all time frames. That's what I do. Is start out the longer time frames and work my way down and look for some clarity on what might be a possibility. But of course, there aren't trades on every pair, and find the most obvious things and trade those. So, all right, so that's it, guys. If anything stunning comes up during the week, I'll make another video. But